And I'm so excited to talk to the headliner of FinCon 2021. Jaspreet Singh joins us. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Well, I should say what I should have said is we're here with Jaspreet Singh from MinorityMindset.com, where money minds rethink rich, right?
Exactly.
How did you, because the tagline is so hard to come up with. And every time I watch your videos and I see the beginning of your video and how carefully put together they are, but you also seem so relaxed. Where did that tagline come from? And was it hard to come up with?
Yes, I am the worst when it comes to branding. I am a very bad person, or not a bad. I'm a very bad when it comes to the branding side of things. And so when we were trying to come up with a slogan for the minority mindset, it took us, I don't even know, like countless months trying to figure out who are we catering to, and how do we now voice what we do in one sentence or less than a sentence. Like, we look at some of the greatest taglines: Disney, the happiest place on earth; Apple, just do it. Sorry, no, Nike, just do it. Apple, think differently. And for us, I was like, what can we do at the minority mindset to really captivate? Because we speak to a lot of people, and how do we get our audience to understand exactly what we do in a few words or less? Because the word minority mindset itself is already kind of like polarizing, like anything related to the word minority. But we want our audience to dig a little bit deeper, because first, the minority mindset has nothing to do with the way you look, your ethnicity, or your skin color. It's the mindset of thinking differently than the majority of people. Now, how do you captivate that in a way that's simple and easy for someone to understand? Well, the first thing is money minds. A money mind is somebody who wants to think about money, because we're all about financial education, being smart with your money. But the thing about being money-minded is, usually when you hear the idea of being money-minded, it's in a negative context. Oh, this person is so money-minded, or all they do is think about money. That's where the next part.
Almost like money grubbing, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And so we want to show people that, while maybe the majority of people think like that, it is actually really important for you to have this money-minded part with the rethink rich, because we want you to rethink the way you look at money, because rich can mean a lot of things to a lot of different people. Rich could mean, just having a lot of money, but having freedom. Having the freedom to live your life the way you want, to be able to vacation the way you want, to be able to afford the lifestyle that you want. And that's the rich that we're trying to advocate, is letting people live their life the way they want. And so where Money Minds Rethink Rich was kind of the culmination of all of that thought process is where we come to.
What did you do? You talk about a group of you. How many people are in the minority mindset?
So in the office, we have, let me count them. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Besides me, we have 5, 6 full-time people outside of me. And then we have about a dozen or a dozen and a half part-time freelancers or contractors that work with us regularly.
When you first started out, though, when you were talking about riffing on that, and maybe even with your name, Jaspreet, you've got a whiteboard behind you. Was it you just kind of talked it out, whiteboarded it out by yourself, or was it a group of people? Was it friends? Like how did you work through the creativity of coming up with that?
So that slogan just came out. This is a new slogan that we came out with in 2020. So when I talk about I'm not good with branding, between the beginning of Minority Mindset until 2020, which was I started Minority Mindset in like 2015. Officially, I started YouTube in March 1st, 2016. So between 2015, 2016 to 2020, we didn't even have a tagline. Like we had like kind of like temporary taglines, just random things that I would say here and there, but not a real slogan. So going back to me in branding, I'm not the best brander. Yeah. I'm more of the entrepreneur, just do it type of person. And then as we grew, as we had a team, as we started to kind of build real credibility, then it's like, okay, we got to figure out how to brand Minority Mindset because we are all over the place. Like we had different logos in different, like our newsletter had a different logo, our website had a different looking logo, our logos were different colors. Like it was a mess, but my eyes didn't work in that direction. So as we grew, then I was able to bring on somebody who could help us with our marketing and our branding and just clean out the way we look. That way Minority Mindset looks the same on YouTube and Instagram and our newsletter and our website. But before that, we didn't have that. Like when I started off, it was just me. I started off Minority Mindset as a hobby because I got scammed. I got scammed by a fake marketing company. Knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. And after I got scammed, I was like, okay, this sucks. I just lost, I think it was like $3,000 or $3,500. And I was a lot younger, and that was a lot of money.
Yeah.
So I was like, what do I do? I can sit here and cry about it, or I can do something about it. So I started off, I just went to Udemy, which was a lot newer back then. And I put out this class on how to launch a business without getting screwed over. And that was like, I had no real like goals or anything for the class. It was just something like I was just so, if I can say the word, pissed off that I was scammed. I just put out this class for that. And, this class did pretty decent. I mean, I didn't make a ton of money, but it was like, it was okay. I probably made, I don't know, probably less than $1,000. So I mean, it was whatever. I just kind of did it for a hobby, and I think I gave a lot of people free access. I charged a lot of people $7. Like it was just I didn't know anything about the business. I just put it out there, and I called the class by Minority Mindset because I always felt like I thought differently than the majority of people. I always knew that I thought different, and this goes back to like when I was in high school. I drove Solara, sweet car, and I was like, what can I do to make my car cool?
I just had a hiccup on the internet. So if you can go back to just that last sentence and say it one more time.
Go back to when I was in high school?
Yes, start there.
Okay, cool. When I was in high school, I drove a Toyota Solara, a sweet car, but I wanted to be different. And so I drove this Toyota, and so I was like, what can I do? And so I started to get all these ideas. Let's have the coolest car out there. So anytime I made money, first thing I did was I put tints on my car, upgraded the sound system, I upgraded my lights, HID lights. I put in subwoofers, 2 12-inch subs in the back, and then I was like, I'm gonna put butterfly doors on my Toyota. So I started saving up money. I worked a lot of different places trying to, put some butterfly doors on my Toyota. And it was my cousin who was like, Jaspreet, you're an idiot. Do not put Lamborghini doors, butterfly doors on your Toyota. So I didn't do that. But it was always like, I always thought differently. And so from there to all of my other entrepreneurial ventures, I realized that I always thought differently than the majority of people. So I figured the Minority Mindset name would be fitting. So I called this class by Minority Mindset. And then I was like, this is cool. People are liking it. People would leave comments like, hey, do you have a social media page? I was like, okay. Let me go out on Instagram, created an Instagram page called Minority Mindset. And it all started off in the entrepreneurship space because I was just talking about the things that I wish I knew when I started a business because I didn't have any guidance. My parents are immigrants from India, from a state in India called Punjab, and they wanted me to be a doctor. So when they found out that I wasn't going to be a doctor, they were very upset. And so for like the first 4 or 5 years of my entrepreneurial career, like from college to like a number of years after that, I never told my parents that I started a business. I would never tell them that I was doing anything because I didn't want them to be mad at me. I wanted them to think I was just studying. So I didn't have any guidance. I didn't have any support. I didn't have anyone to turn to because I didn't know anybody who started a business before. So I was just like out there doing it. And that's kind of the way that I function. I work best just by doing things. And so one of our core values now is fast is better than slow. The whole idea behind that is ready, fire, aim. Do something, screw up, figure out why you screwed up, and fix it. And that's always the way I function. And so when I got scammed in my previous company, I just started putting out this content as like a way for me to help other people. Grew into an Instagram page. The people said, oh, can you put out longer content? Maybe start a blog or something. Because, reading 1,000 words on Instagram isn't always the easiest thing to do.
Yeah,
and writing
right.
that many words on your phone isn't very easy. So I would, just write whatever I could. And I was like, I can't start a blog. I hate writing. I'm also a really bad writer. English was my second language, so that's not going to work. But I did watch YouTube videos. I never watched a financial video on YouTube, but I did watch YouTube videos. So I figured I'd start talking on YouTube. So I took my cell phone. It was an iPhone. I think it was like the iPhone 6 or something. I don't remember what it was. Just an iPhone. And I just put it on a tripod. I paid 20 or 25 bucks for this tripod. And I recorded myself talking to my phone in front of a white wall. And that was my first YouTube videos. And it wasn't until like 4 or 5 months in that I bought my first camera for, I think, $300, which I was like, I don't know if I want to make this investment or not into a YouTube channel. But I bought, it wasn't, until 5 months in that spent $300 on that. And now 5 years from there, we have just passed 1 million YouTube subscribers, and now we're a full financial media company. So it started off with just me, a lot of hustle, a lot of grind, with me doing everything myself as just a hobby. And then it was me doing everything myself, trying to make this into a business. And then we slowly started to bring on freelancers. And then we started to bring on full-time team members. We call them money nerds. And now we have a decent-sized staff of people that work full-time, and a pretty large team of people that are remote that are working to build the company.
When did you make the pivot from entrepreneurship more toward personal finance? Because like the last video, your latest video out, is all about why not to trade stocks, which I thought, by the way, was neat, because you start off with why don't do it, which goes into the second half of the video is the right way to do it. It was a pretty great hook. But when did you make that pivot, and why? Did you find SEO was working that way? Your interest was more in personal finance? When did that transition happen?
A mix of both. Just my passion was really into the personal finance side of things than just how to build a business. Because I had built some businesses and made some decent money, but I really, really enjoyed the kind of the intersection between business and finance. I love personal finance. I love entrepreneurship. But me just talking about business lacked the personal finance side of things. I was just doing it. And so when I talk about personal finance on YouTube, but then I work on building a business on the back end, it kind of gives me the hybrid of both worlds. So it allowed me to really fulfill the thing that I liked doing. And I think it's like partially, I mean, I don't know if that's the reason why, but I think our audience also gravitated more towards the personal finance side of things. So it was like, if I looked at like our view counts, like when I released a video about how to things related to business, people didn't like it as much as when I talked about investing and money management. And it kind of worked out because I liked talking about the money management, investing side of things a little bit more than I did the business. I still like talking about it, but now we focus a lot more on the personal finance side of things. So it was a mix of both things. It's just kind of me letting me do what I like more, and people liked it more too.
I love that, just you following your passion, because I think that a lot of times, especially people that own their own business, think that, I feel like they chase their audience a little too much. And I think your audience can kind of feel that when you're just chasing numbers or chasing likes or chasing, this number that's outside of you. And for me, it doesn't seem to be as fulfilling as kind of meeting my listener halfway. But that said, do you pay a lot of attention to statistics? Do you pay a lot of attention to SEO? Is that part of the success of your YouTube channel and of the brand? Or is it more just the passion you bring that I see when I watch your videos?
It's a mix of both. So I'll tell you very bluntly and honestly, when we were around the 500,000 subscriber mark, and that was at the point where our YouTube channel really started to get traction. And we don't have a lot of sponsors or affiliate partners on our channel right now. But around the 500,000 mark, that's when I was like, okay, our channel is making decent money. We have a decent audience. So I started finding more sponsors and trying to do more ways to make more money on our channel. And the thing with sponsorships, so sponsorships are people that pay you a flat fee per video versus an affiliate. What I call an affiliate is someone that's more of a revenue share. You get paid per conversion, per sale, per lead, whatever it is. Sponsorships are very strict. They'll say, okay, we need you to say X, Y, Z. We need you to say it like this. We want it to be this long. They put a lot of rules on you. And I didn't like it, but they paid more money. And so for a little while, I started to do more sponsorships. Now, I only promoted products that I actually believed in and I liked. But we were making a lot of videos. I had a lot of promotions in there. And I started to lose my own passion for it. I started to not liking making videos as much. because like it's like, okay, I need to talk about this and I need to phrase this in here, I need to do that. And then I was kind of like getting really annoyed by it. And at this point I was like, I didn't start this business to be told how to make videos and how to build our business. So I stopped taking on all sponsors. We still had our affiliate partners because these are partner companies that I love and that people need. But I stopped taking on all sponsorships, and I stopped doing all sponsorships. And I only started making videos about things that I love doing. I went back to the roots and just started talking about the things that I just wanted to talk about. And I would just go there and just talk. And as soon as that happened, it was almost, I want to say overnight, but it was like it took a couple of weeks for YouTube to kind of realize what was going on. And then like our growth really started to come back quickly. A couple of our videos started to go viral again. And I was
almost like people could feel it. People could feel you.
And I think you feel it too. Like when you like it, this is not something that I think we can control. When you like something, you naturally are just going to do a better job at it because you care about it and you're going to talk with passion, and people can see that. So, when in terms of like, do I look at audience statistics? Of course, I think everybody should. You should look at your statistics and see what your audience likes. And what that tells you is, okay, they like this, provide more value in that space. If people like the real estate stuff, my stock market stuff, I'm going to provide more value in this space. It works for me because I like talking about the real estate market. I'm an investor in real estate. I'm a stock market investor. I like talking about these things. So it kind of goes hand in hand because the things that I like talking about, the things that I know most about are the things that provide me the best statistics. So on YouTube, that's what I pay attention to. We don't really pay attention to much YouTube SEO at all. Actually, at all. We pay more to I think that's a mistake that a lot of newer YouTubers get into is, I know we did this too in the early stages, is we're focusing on how can I rank for a specific keyword like you do with a blog.
Yeah, right.
I want to get ranked for how to invest my money. I want to rank for that. But that's not the game that we play on YouTube. We just want to put out good content that people want to watch, and it reaches more people that way because YouTube's algorithm works that way where they're more likely to show your content to more people if people just like your content. I mean, YouTube is the thing that makes YouTube so cool and so unique is that it is a hybrid between a blog and social media. So a blog, the way you get found with a blog is SEO. With social media, the way you get found is more through virality. And so if you kind of combine the two, it's how do you give people the content with the virality? In this case, virality is value. For our channel, it's value. It's that education. If we can provide that with that, we combine those two together, then YouTube will help us get our content out there. So that's what we try to do with YouTube.
How much do you pay attention to? You mentioned social media and other channels of driving people to YouTube. Or have you found that YouTube with its gigantic search engine is good enough?
It is very difficult trying to drive traffic to YouTube from your other social media platforms. It can give you quick hits. Like we have a Instagram page with 600,000 plus followers. And we will promote YouTube videos there and we'll get some views. I mean, you can do swipe ups on your story. You can send people to the link in bio. You can tell people in the comments to go check out your video. But nothing will beat YouTube itself when it comes to getting people onto YouTube. And I tried this before in the early stages. I think I was spending like $5 a day running Facebook advertisements trying to promote our YouTube channel. And it's quick hits, it's some views, but the best way to win on YouTube is just put out good content that people find on YouTube that people want to watch. I mean, even buying YouTube advertisements to build your YouTube audience is not always going to give you the most sustainable audience. This is the thing that makes YouTube so tricky and so rewarding at the same time, is you can't beat YouTube at YouTube. Because the thing that makes YouTube so powerful is it's powered by viewers. And so you can go out and you can spend, if you have a massive budget, you can spend hundreds of thousands of dollars buying YouTube advertisements to get views and subscribers for your channel. But if these people don't love your content, they're not going to go and watch your next video. That's what it's all about. Because the whole idea is, if I get them to subscribe, then YouTube is going to show them the next video that I put out. And they might do that, but what's going to happen is that YouTube is going to show these people their next video, and they'll watch it maybe. And if they don't love it, they're not going to finish it. They're not going to engage with it. And YouTube is going to recognize that. So you might have a ton of subscribers, but if people aren't watching, well, pretty quickly, YouTube is going to stop showing your future content to your audience. So it is really hard to try to win that game by bringing people from outside platforms, by getting people from advertisements. You really just have to focus on that content and show people on YouTube that, hey, you're going to enjoy watching me. If you can win that, then YouTube is eventually going to say, hey, people are liking this. Let me show it to more people. If YouTube shows it to more people and other people also watch your content and engage with it, they will continue to share it with more people. So that's kind of the way it works, which is why it's so challenging, because even if you have a massive budget, that doesn't mean you can build a strong YouTube presence.
Yeah, but what I love about that message, though, Jaspreet, is that we all have it inside of us to make good stuff. I mean, I hear the same thing about podcasting all the time. People ask me about how do you make a podcast, that people like, how do you market your podcast? The best marketing for your podcast is having a great podcast. That is that's exactly number one thing to do. I can't let this go, though. You said 600,000 people on Instagram. That's also a big, huge flipping number. Do you then, if you're not driving people cross-platform to YouTube, do you kind of see it like a maybe a music festival where Instagram is its own separate stage and you're doing different things on Instagram than you do on YouTube?
That's a great question. That's a very good way to put it. So we have different platforms. So we have YouTube, we have Instagram, we have TikTok, we have Facebook, we have LinkedIn, we have Twitter, we have, I think that's it. But you have all these different platforms. And the way that we talk about it internally is that every one of these platforms have their own game. We have to play the game for each platform. So Instagram, the game is to get onto the Discover page. And the way you get onto the Discover page is different than how you get found on YouTube. With Facebook is hard. We haven't figured out Facebook. But Facebook is, a lot of paid advertisements. There is an organic game, but we don't spend a lot of time or energy on Facebook. With TikTok, it's that virality factor. It's all about trends. It's all about virality. How can we,
I thought it's all about dancing and pointing. Isn't it about dancing and pointing?
It's growing beyond that now. There's a lot more in TikTok now. And
I'm glad.
Yeah. And so it's, the stage reference is a good one where everything is its own platform. And like even our blog, with our blog, we are really working on that, trying to build that SEO presence. And that's something, our blog is something we also started in 2020. Now we have a ton of writers. I think we have close to like 10 part-time writers that are writing for the blog consistently. And, we don't have the best SEO presence yet. We're working on it. We're trying to do everything we can to build it. But, that's what we're trying to do there. And so, you talked about YouTube. Yeah, we're not really trying to hit that SEO the way we are or some people are on YouTube, but we're really trying to hit SEO hard on our blog. So it's a different game for different platforms. Now, what I don't want somebody who's listening to do is to think, okay, I'm trying to build my YouTube channel, but I should build my blog, I should build my Instagram, I should build my TikTok, it is so difficult to do all of them simultaneously. Focus on one first. Like my personal energy goes into YouTube. Once you can build one platform, whether it's YouTube, blog, Instagram, it doesn't matter. They each have their own benefits, their own kind of value. Once you can build one, now you can have somebody else come on and help you diversify to the second one or the third one. But if you're trying to take all of your energy and just trying to do everything, you're going to dilute yourself way too thin. Now, what you can do is recycle some of your content. Like what we do with our YouTube content is I make videos for YouTube. That's where my energy goes, is to create the best YouTube videos. Now I have a team of people that when we make this YouTube video, this same video is going to get chopped up. It's going to get chopped up for Facebook. So it's going to be a long Facebook video. It's going to be a long Instagram video. It's also going to be chopped up into a TikTok video. and Instagram Reels video. So now the same piece of content can be shown in multiple different places to speak to different people on different platforms. But I don't spend my personal time making videos for Instagram. Sometimes I do for TikTok, but it's not very often. Most of my energy in terms of content creation is going towards making YouTube content because that's what I love.
That's fascinating, and I feel like a lot of us spend too much time creating new stuff instead of realizing that we could put our stuff on these different places, and we don't have to always reinvent the wheel. So it's just you and I talking here. I don't want you to give away what you're going to say on the main stage. Sure. At FinCon, but if you can kind of give us a little flavor of what you're thinking about. Have you started thinking about your talk at FinCon?
Yeah, I have. And I think, again, this kind of goes back to the things that I wish I knew when I was trying to build a media company and YouTube, because the lesson that I learned kind of difficultly is that YouTube can be a business, but it also might not be a business. And by business, I mean something that's self-sustainable, but you don't have to physically work. Because I have made a lot of mistakes on YouTube, and I am an entrepreneur, so I try to figure out, okay, how do we scale? How do we build something where I'm not the only one making videos? So, in the early stages, I tried bringing on other people to make videos in place of me. But what I learned quickly is that people love the creator. They don't love the channel. And even with that, so when I bring on other people, everybody was just like, who is this person? Where's Jaspreet? Where's Jaspreet? I didn't sign up for this person. And so it's cool that, like, wow, people actually care about me. Like that made me feel really good. But at the same time, I'm starting to realize, okay, I need to look at YouTube a little bit differently. And so understanding now, how do you, if you are an entrepreneur, how do you to build a business? Or secondly, how do you just build a profitable platform off of YouTube? Because they're two separate things. I mean, you can live a very happy and successful life just as a YouTube creator, or you can also use YouTube to leverage a business. So, you kind of just got to figure out which route you want to go. And I'm going to be talking about those two different things and the different ways that you can do that.
Oh my God, I can't wait. I'm so excited. What was great.
I'm excited too. It was Texas. I've never been there.
It is wonderful. I will tell you, the food is fantastic. And I know you're in Detroit, and I love Detroit as a former Detroit guy. Just the food in Detroit, so good. Yeah. But the food in Austin, Texas, Jaspreet, is wonderful as well. And you're gonna, you'll gain.
I'm already hungry.
You'll gain 10 pounds if you're not careful. So, well, thanks for spending a few minutes with us. By the way, we'll have links to Jaspreet and to the Minority Mindset, so you guys can all go check it out. Check out how he makes his YouTube videos. Check out the blog. Check out his social media, and get ready for a great FinCon 21. Jaspreet, thanks for spending some time with us talking about your brand and how you built it. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.